Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security Disability attorney. I want to talk to you today about Social Security Disability hearings. This is a big part of what I do. I go to hearings usually several times a week, but people get very concerned about what's going to happen at my hearing, how long does it last, what do I wear, that sort of thing. Well, big picture, and again, there's a lot of details that you want to go over with your attorney, but big picture, what you need to know about these hearings are, number one, they're short. They last 45 minutes to an hour, typically. They can last longer, but that's typically it. And what the judge is trying to find out at the hearing is whether or not you have a medical issue that limits your capacity to work. That is the main issue. Everything else is going to be done by paperwork. So really you're there to talk about one thing, and that is how your medical problems impact your capacity to work. Number two, these are administrative, meaning they're not they're not judicial. And what I mean by that is that Social Security hearings are part of the executive branch of government, not the judicial branch of government. So that means that they're much more informal than regular court. Instead of going to a courthouse, they'll typically be in an office park. Social Security hearings are usually in office buildings. It could be in downtown or it could be in its own building. But when you go to these hearings, you'll be a little bit surprised it's in the middle of an office park someplace. And when you walk in, there's one security guard. The hearings themselves, there's no bailiffs in there. It's much less formal than even traffic court. So it's very, very informal. The rules of evidence are relaxed. We can submit photocopies of documents. It's not like we have to introduce evidence and chain of custody and things like that. It's much more informal. So disability hearings are quick. They are much more informal. They're not nearly as complicated in terms of the rules of evidence and other rules of procedure as regular type of court might be. When you go there, you want to dress nicely. You don't need to be in a suit and tie. You want to be in something I would call dressy casual, so you show respect for the court. You do address the judge as your honor. Again, these are administrative law judges. And again, it's a much more informal type of thing. When we get there, for example, you'll see there'll be a witness there, typically a vocational witness you've never seen before, to testify about your work capacity. So again, this is very unlike any other type of court you've probably been to. And when we get out, the judge will not announce his decision or his or her decision at the time of the hearing. It'll be done in writing later on. So again, it's very, very different than any other kind of court. You only have 45 minutes, so you want to make the most of it. I always tell my clients, let's spend some time preparing for this so you know what questions are always asked, you know what mistakes to avoid, you know sort of how to conduct yourself at the hearing, and again what the big picture is, and that is your capacity to work. And my final point about the hearings is I will say this. My experience has been, my opinion is, that the bulk of the work should be done ahead of time. The medical evidence is a lot more important than your testimony. Judges these days, I mean, they're going to expect you to say that you're disabled. They're going to expect you to talk about all the problems you're having. It's not so much about what you say. What does your medical record say? And I think a lot of times the judge will want to see you, want to eyeball you to make sure that he or she believes you. But as a practical matter, most of these cases are won or lost based on the medical records. So I'm a lot more focused on that than I would be your testimony. I want you to do well. I want you to feel like you've had a fair hearing. But in reality, the medical evidence is a lot more important than anything you can say. I can't tell you how infrequently I feel like a case was won because of testimony. It's typically won because of the medical evidence. So that's sort of big picture about Social Security disability hearings. Any questions about this or anything else related to Social Security disability, please let me know. Hope you found this helpful. Please give it a thumbs up or a like on Facebook, thumbs up on YouTube. Any other suggestions you've got for videos, please let me know that as well. And again, I hope you found this helpful. My name is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I'll see you soon.